Hey guys, welcome to the Weekend DSP. This is for the week of March 30th, 2020. Another month down, and that means we have another roundup post from Actually, and we also have the conclusion of the 341 meeting, as well as the start of DSP's birthday celebration week. I hope you guys don't mind that I've been keeping these shorter. It's been easier for me to edit and get them out on a timely manner and keep up with them. So the main thread on Kiwi Farms with the bankruptcy documents has been updated with the result of the 341 meeting, which occurred on March 31st. It reads, the trustee of this estate reports that the meeting of creditors was concluded, and the trustee is investigating the existence and location of property of the estate not subject to exemptions or security interests. Debtor appeared. This is important because DSP initially filed his Chapter 7 bankruptcy as a non-asset case. An asset being, I don't have something that I could liquidate in order to pay back the debt that I owe. However, as you guys remember from the 341 call, and as I covered last week, that DSP did have a bunch of assets that he claimed to be strictly business related. Now, I don't think Nancy was going to say anything on the 341 meeting. I think it was just fact-finding, fact-checking, and she found some information that she's going to move forward with. A question I get a lot on the restreams is, what is the next step on the bankruptcy? And at this point, I don't really know. I'm not familiar with the bankruptcy process enough to really say. It looks like the events have started to follow the timeline that Nick Rekieta suggested on his streams. So whatever Nick Rekieta suggests might be the future for DSP's bankruptcy is probably how things are going to pan out. And I would trust Nick Rekieta on it because, again, he's a lawyer, so he's involved in the legal practice and has probably done something like this or something similar to this before. So Nancy suggests that DSP has more assets than he initially declared on his Chapter 7. He tried to, and Rochelle tried to, funnel it under business expenses or business assets of $1,500 and said that they're not worth anything or they're exempt to be taken from him. But again, in the 341 meeting, DSP was asked point blank, what is WWE Network? He said that's how he watches wrestling on demand. But if he claimed all of his TVs are business assets, then he's going to get fucked. If he uses them for personal use, especially like the Nintendo Switch, which Kat gets to play with on the day off and her days off, then they're not strictly business related. You can only claim a partial amount of them as a business asset. But again, and I know I'm repeating myself from the previous video, but it all flows together and bears repeating that DSP did not file a business bankruptcy. This is a personal bankruptcy. None of his business assets were purchased with a business credit card or with a business bank account, and he doesn't file his taxes separately as a business or a personal tax. So there is very, very, very little to separate what is personal and what is business. I read somewhere that a statistic of Chapter 7 cases being changed from non-asset to asset is a 1% occurrence. I don't know what investigating they're going to do beyond asking for 6 months of the PayPal accounts, of which DSP has multiple PayPal accounts. But if there's more assets that he has than he initially put on the Chapter 7 paperwork, then he could be screwing himself out of a rubber stamp on the Chapter 7, which I would think would be DSP's worst case scenario, is to not get the Chapter 7, because he's tried to say he's insolvent, and now all his creditors can accelerate their debt collections with him and say, hey, you made it sound like you can't pay us off in the payment plan that we initially have. We'd like to get whatever money we can out of you now. While we're on the topic of DSP's finances, let's talk about the monthly roundup. It looks like Phil, quote-unquote, earned between $9,600 and $11,500. A YouTube channel with 900,000 views, and so between a $1 to $3 CPM puts him at a $900 to almost $3,000 range there. So that's why there's the discrepancy, not the discrepancy, but the gap in potential earnings, because we don't know what DSP's CPM is, even though he alleges it's probably below $1 at this point. That's over $5,000 in tips for the month of March. His sub goal being hit gets him $1,850 in subs. And then Patreon sprinkles in another $400. And then the total amount of cheers that actually was able to record was $1,478. And there you have it. So it looks like the income he reported on his bankruptcy filing, where he says he makes about $9,000 a month before he has to pay his business and necessary expenses. But it looks like it's on the lower end of the estimate, which if DSP is being truthful, which is a very hard pill to swallow, that would mean DSP is taking a $1 or less CPM in order to make that $9,000 a month. Mr. Huffstuff also pointed out that DSP has changed the default tip when you tip him through Streamlabs to $1.30, thereby alleviating some of the fees that are associated with using PayPal. PayPal takes a flat 30 cents and 3% of every donation that a streamer gets through Streamlabs. So a dollar would end up being 67 cents in DSP's pocket, and a lot of complaining came from him about this, about how it's lost income, I guess, and it resulted in a lot of people just donating the $1.30, specifically PW Dubs, but it looks like DSP has just went ahead and skipped to making it $1.30 by default. You can put in a default suggested amount into your Streamlabs donations. One of my favorite posts on Kiwi Farms this week came from TZG Nilki, which is a DSP going back on something he had said before. Now, the previous week, he had been asked what was for dinner, and DSP said, "Oh, Cat made this amazing chicken and dumplings with custom broth, with, homemade seasoning or whatever." And then a week later to this week, he's asked about what's for dinner, and he talks about Cat making a new dish, and that the dish last week was actually very soggy. We also have those two clips so you guys can hear them side by side.
Jay Hale to me $5 says, "What did you have for dinner, brother?" I just explained I had chicken and dumplings. My wife made chicken and dumplings for the first time ever, which was amazing. Seriously, it was like crazy fucking good food. It was dark meat chicken with celery, carrots, this custom like broth that she made with all these seasonings, and homemade dumplings all mixed together. Oh, and onions too, sweet onions. Dude, it was crazy good. Dinner was good. Chicken and biscuits was very good. It was better than last time, because last time I said we tried to make these dumplings in this chicken and it ended up mushy. This time we had biscuits pre-made and dipped them in, and it was really good.
Now, I don't think DSP realizes when he says things like this about Cat's cooking, it kind of goes back against the whole, oh, she's my soulmate, she can cook, she likes cooking, she can clean, she likes cleaning. He's trying to make it look like that Cat's this magical trophy wife, and then I guess he gets upset when she cooks a meal incorrectly. Better hope she makes your cake correctly, bud. The last thing I want to point out in this week in DSP is, number one, DSP is now celebrating his birthday a week early, and he's got his decorations up. It looks like he used the same balloons from 2 years ago, which makes sense in that he probably bought a bag of balloons from 2 years ago and just blew up a couple more. He also has the same party horn that he blows for big tips when he can remember. He makes a big deal out of the gimmicks that he does, and then conveniently forgets to perform said gimmicks. Now, you may also notice in this screenshot, the upper right-hand corner, we have a new addition to the leaderboard. This is the Vest Streak counter, and this thing has been nothing but cancer since DSP implemented it. He starts every stream off with, oh, hey guys, we're up to 9 streams in a row where we hit the tips goal and I put on the vest. I don't know if we can go for number 10, and then just keep on incrementing it stream after stream after stream after stream. Now, when I first brought up the vest, I meant to give DSP the slightest bit of credit in that now we finally get something for when $100 is reached on his stream. Whereas before, if he hit $100, he'd just say, thanks guys for the support, and give a thumbs up to the camera. Now he's giving something back to the audience, which is probably why this is working out. I mean, these poor pay pigs have been stepped on and shit on by this dude for years, and then still expected to hand over hundreds of dollars of cash. And now it's, well, you know, if you still do it, now I'll do something back for you guys. While he drops serious hints about hoping to get $100 on the stream, He also mentions that if the tips goal is ever doubled and brought to $200, he will put on the cowboy hat. The drawback to the vest streak is three things. Number one being it is an outward-facing number to show how many times he's gotten at least $100 per stream. So he is just showing to the detractors, the trolls, and his audience that he's already received $100 multiple times day by day by day. The other person that he's showing this, and this is the second negative, is this is showing the banks, who are obviously going to be paying attention to him and his income, how much money he makes per stream or a week of streaming, or potentially, if it lasts long enough, a month of streaming strictly from his tips alone. The last thing about the vest goal, and it's this is something that DSP says bites him in the butt always after the fact, but while it's going on, he will never, ever, ever say that it's a bad thing. That he usually gets one or two whales who will throw $50 each to hit the vest goal, and then that's it that he gets for the tips. He has complained about this in the past with Tutankhamun getting a lot of money up front at the start of a stream, and then it dissuades people from giving him money because he's already received a lot of money, and he won't outright say it, but he wants all of the money that people are going to give him. It will be interesting to see if this vest streak gimmick that DSP has started will turn around and end up making April a bigger month for him. I guess that can be the only positive to come out of this really dumb situation, is that DSP is learning, he's trying different things, and he's earning, quote-unquote, more money from it. All right, guys, that does it for the week in DSP. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. I don't respond to every comment on the videos because I get hundreds of them, but I do go through and read every single one of them and try to drop likes and hearts on them, so feel free to comment below. You can like and subscribe if you want to support the content for free, and then I hope to see you in the next stream or video.